My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made great in weakness, so that you can say, even though I am weak, I am strong. Because it's not by might or power, but by my Spirit. He is your sufficiency. By me you can do all things. Without me you can do nothing. Therefore, abide in me. Taking the journey of faith has been that one lifeline for me. There are events that can happen in our lives that leave us empty, disabled, but also there are those who are born blind so that the glory of God may be made known through their weakness. I have come to appreciate weakness, poverty, and hopeless situations as opportunities for God to show forth His glory. That's what they can be if we're willing to fight the good fight of faith. On this journey, there are things we often have to get out of the way if God's strength is to show forth in our weakness. That is why it becomes a journey, a process, and not an event. There is the tedious work of raising the valleys and leveling the mountains, clearing the thorns and stones to make a highway. Because our psychology is usually tightly wound around these former experiences and the reflection they have on us, the grace of God cannot really settle on us. In this condition, we cannot rise up in faith in what God can do. We have to come to a place where we are able to put down what these experiences have made us think we are. Therein lies a stronghold, the strong man that must be bound. It is interesting that we cannot put on the grace of God when we see ourselves as weak. Not that we deny the fact of our weakness, but our focus has to shift from this weakness, the known and the familiar, to the strength of God, the unknown and unfamiliar. The status quo is usually that we have gotten used to focusing on ourselves and in our weakness, so that it is overwhelming and doesn't give any other view a chance to thrive. We, along with our weakness, are at the center of everything. So the Holy Spirit takes us through spiritual therapy, where the pain is replayed over and over to bring up all the brokenness in order to administer healing. He then gives us peace and rest in the midst of our weakness, to where it no longer overwhelms or intimidates us, to where it is no longer the center of focus, what our mind and emotions naturally gravitate towards, to where we can actually have joy and hope while still in this weakness. Now this is fertile ground for the grace of God to thrive. In our psychology, His power is made greater than our weakness. A belief paradigm shift has taken place. The tables have turned, as it were. In this process, God has taken us out of the miry clay, the jail of our own bad experiences. They no longer own us and control our lives. They no longer determine how we think, feel, and act, our character. Our face actually begins to show forth from all the mud and filth, so that we and not our pain and shame can be seen and heard. Once we have gained independence from the old way, we can have faith for the unknown, for something new. Eventually, we are brought to the sobering realization that there is no weakness in us that can weaken the strength of God at work in us. Our weakness, therefore, does not matter. What once towered over us and looked like the end of the world is suddenly brought to nothing. The mountain is made level ground for us and God to walk on. The bottom line is for God's strength to show forth in our weakness, for His strength to become our strength. At some point in our healing and restoration process, we must cease from being this person that had that life-defining experience or that has that personality-defining weakness, where our emotions are no longer affected and our thoughts don't get stuck on it. We really have to get over that version of us who is weak while we are still that person. That they are no longer consequential or relevant because we have found something infinitely more powerful that we can put our confidence in and not fail. At some point, God's strength must make our weakness irrelevant. Not that it goes away, but He overshadows us, and the thorn in our flesh no longer hurts. We forget it. At the point when God fully empowers us, being or feeling weak simply becomes a choice. We're left to choose between weakness and strength when our faith matures. It is no longer a case where our weakness overwhelms us no matter how hard we fight back. It loses its power and grip over us. It becomes a case of if we believe and if we love Him, we will choose to be strong even when feelings and the appearance of weakness overwhelms us. We are able to separate the two opposing realities and choose the better.